If you want to find your passion, is it important to know the things that you dislike, that you, four-letter word upcoming, hate? Stay tuned. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, we lead, and we inspire. And today I want to talk to you about superheroes, or should I say anti-superheroes, okay? I want to talk to you about tendencies that people tend to pick up when they're going through a negative slide. And believe it or not, very hard to believe, I've had 1 or 2 or 3,000 negative slides in my life. So I want to share with you the different superhero, anti-superhero personas that I've had, and some that I haven't, but some that I recognize in other people, and see if you can't agree. So let's talk about the anti-superhero. The first one I want to talk about is the lone stranger. Okay? Sometimes you find yourself in a situation where everything seems to be going wrong. Number one thing that my son has experienced recently, that I told him that it would happen to him, all right, is when a woman, especially your first crush, your first love, breaks up with you, you gets handed your walking papers, then you don't want to talk to anybody, you don't want to eat, you don't want to do anything, you just moping around, okay? And then you become the lone stranger, all right? How do you not become the lone stranger? You recognize that life has its ups and downs. You also recognize that there is a mourning period. There is a mourning period. So you're going to have, when you have scenarios like that, a day or two when you're down, but don't let it go on and on and on and on and on, okay? You have to put a stop to it. You have to logically say to yourself, I'm down, I know I'm down, I have to look up to look down, okay? I know that's my situation, but I'm going to put a time limit on it. And when you put that time limit on it and say, okay, when I wake up on that third day or that second day or whatever that day is that you decide that you're no longer going to be the lone stranger and be by yourself, then you have to physically and mentally put yourself in that space. Physically and mentally put yourself in that space. And that's something that you must do. Otherwise, people aren't going to say, who was that masked man? All right? And especially in today's times when people are wearing masks, they say it more often. Which leads me to the next anti-superhero, which is the incredible sulk. All right? Sort of a symptom of being the lone stranger is that you become the incredible sulk. Same rules, same solution. Give yourself a time limit and say, okay, I realize there's a mourning period. I will accept that, but I have to cut it off at a certain day and a certain time, and I'm going to do that. Next anti-hero, Barry Potter. Barry Potter. Okay, let's talk about Barry Potter. Now, the hero, Harry Potter, has the scar on his forehead, doesn't he? But he doesn't let that scar affect his future. We are all going to go through life carrying certain scars, but you have to make a conscious decision that you're not going to let that affect you, that you have to move forward from it. Okay? There were some people, somebody that comes to mind that I happened to run across yesterday when I was looking at something was Tim Allen. Tim Allen served time in jail. Look what he's become. Okay? Look what Tim Allen has become. So if you have something worse than that, then okay. If you don't have something worse than that, then get off your butt and stop letting the scar from the past affect your future. This one is kind of a personal one with me. and I sort of made it a combination of three superheroes, and it's something that I have to watch out for. I don't want to become Fat Man or Supper Man or Wider Man, okay? Obviously Batman, Superman, or Spider-Man are the heroes, but I have become, to some degree, the anti-hero, Fat Man, Superman, and Wider Man, and I have to discipline myself and see and it's my own fault because over the years my hand-to-mouth coordination has gotten so good. I'm really good at sticking food in my face, you know, but you have to make a decision and you have to say, all right, I'm not going to eat these kinds of foods. I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to drink certain amounts of liquids every day. I do have a discipline with that. It is working to some degree, but I very much, on a personal basis, don't want to become Fat Man, Superman, or Wider Man. And I'm not saying that, it's like, that's the one thing. I mean, anybody can have a bad habit. It could be somebody that's a drinker. All right, where you're starting to drink too much. It's doing anything to excess. It's doing anything to excess. That's what I'm talking about. It could be drugs, it can be alcohol, it could be eating, all sorts of different habits that we pick up. You have to make sure that you don't become Fat Man, okay? And say to yourself, you know what? I'm going in the wrong direction. You have to take pause and you have to take a look. Next one, Peter Pan. Okay, Peter Pan. Now, what do we know about Peter Pan, who is the actual hero? He wanted to be a child his entire life. He did not want to grow up. One of the things that I see with Peter Pan, with younger people, is they're always looking for, they have the phone in front of their face, and if heaven forbid they should go someplace, like when I go to the beach, I take my phone with me and it receives phone calls, but it doesn't have any internet access. Guess what? I live without it. When I go to Maine, I don't even have phone access up there, okay? Let alone the internet. You have to go into town in order to do that, but you live with it. You live with it. Now, here's the thing that really bugs me about this. People today with their phones cannot survive unless they have a hotspot, a spot where the connection is made from their phone to the internet. Aren't you overlooking something kind of big? And what I mean by that is, how about getting the hotspot with the infinite mind, the infinite partner? How do you do that? You plant the seed, you send the vibe out there, you focus on the final result that you're seeking, not how to get there, because you already tried to get there, otherwise it wouldn't be an issue. So you focus on the final result that you're looking for, and you open up the corridor, the connection, so that you connect with the infinite mind. And you recognize that in order to be a receiver, you have to have some relaxed focus time. Isn't that the ultimate hotspot where you can communicate with the infinite mind? It definitely is. It definitely is. Here's one for you, Eli, and I say this because you're at that age. And when I say you, I don't mean necessarily you as an individual. I mean you as a teen, you as an early 20 person, which you're not yet, okay? But the superhero you don't want to become is Blunder Woman, okay, which you won't be, or the Boy Blunder, okay? I don't want to be accused of just talking about guys. So Blunder Woman or the Boy Blunder, they're both the same thing. One of the things that you don't recognize when you're a teen is that it's awkward. You're growing into your body, you're having new feelings, you're having new experiences. When I talk to you right now about girls, about women, it's very awkward for us. It's very uncomfortable. Guess what? In about 5 years, it's not going to be that uncomfortable to talk with me about that. it's something that people talk about. But right now, because it's something new that you're experiencing, where you don't have a lot of experience right now, being 16, 17 years old, almost 17, there's an awkwardness there. You're not comfortable with it. And that will pass. We will talk about it. But that alone is an example of what excuse me, of the things that happen around you at this particular age. There is a lot of new stuff. There's a lot of awkwardness. I mean, if and when you decide to go to college, or if you decide to go to school, you decide to take some classes or whatever, that's going to be a new awkward situation. So there's all sorts of different things, but you have to always remember that what's happening to you is happening to other people. They're feeling the same feelings that you're feeling. So don't worry about it so much. It's an awkward age. And the last superhero that I want to talk about, the anti-superhero, is Dr. Anthony Grouchy. All right? One of the people that I admire a great deal right now in today's times is Dr. Fauci, because he's a straight shooter. Right? He doesn't say, hey, I know everything. Here's every solution. You got to do this. You got to do that. All right? What he says is, look, the research that I've seen so far says this. And if I make a mistake, it's based on information that I got from the research. I'm a human being. Don't put this guy under the microscope. All right? So he's a positive person. On the other hand, there are other people that seem to have received their graduate school degree in being grouchy. I can't stand that. Some people wake up and they don't put themselves in the proper space where they have a positive mental attitude. Once again, give yourself some quiet thinking time. 20 things that you're grateful for. Visualize your objective. See it, feel it, smell it, taste it. That will get you positive, and then you won't be Dr. Anthony Grouchy. All right, I'm giving you the anti-superheroes. And let's always remember, hey, don't ration the passion, fashion the passion. I'm Eli's dad.